Coming up today on Eagle Eyes on Tech, the US and China has put a pause on the trade war. We'll get into the details what exactly that means. OpenAI is now going even more for profit than before. Amazon laid off a lot of people, and I do mean a lot. And to my surprise, Fujitsu is still supporting Blu Rays and laptops. All that and more coming up today on Eagle Eyes on Tech. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or it's 2 a.m. Good morning, this is Eagle Eyes on Tech. I am Eagle Falcon. We got quite a bit to talk about today. Quite a bit. Like, for starters, man, I gotta say, we'll get to it later on. But man, what the heck is going on at Amazon? What the heck is going on at Amazon? They had another massive layoff wave, and it is affecting a lot, underline a lot of their various departments. We're going to get into all that was affected there. That actually might be the highlight story of it all. But first, I want to get to one story that I didn't report on at first because I literally didn't believe it. Let's first start from the beginning for this story. Modern GPUs use a connector known as the 16-pin high voltage or high power connector. Not high voltage, but high power. All right. This has been a problem connector since the get-go. This is the one single connector now that connects to the GPU on higher end NVIDIA and now higher end AMD cards. And like maybe 1 in every 60 seem to combust. That there just seems to be some kind of problem, whether it be user error or faulty design, that just causes them to melt. I have said that this whole connector should just be scrapped, but we still use it. Not in any of my systems, though. I feel sane, but these connectors still exist. They are still being used, and it doesn't seem to be going away. Cooler Master makes cables for that connector. Okay. Someone in chat, 8 plus 8 is 16. In this case, actually, it's 6 plus 6 plus 4. Because it's 2 rows of 6 pins that provide the primary voltage and wattage and amps. And then 4 sensory cable pins at the very top of the connector to make your 16 pins. But in any case, Cooler Master makes cable for these. Cooler Master believed that the easiest way to go ahead and make sure people are inserting them correctly is to put the cable at a 90-degree angle. So normally the connector just goes in straight in, and the wires just kind of bend to go into the power supply. And on paper, that's usually fine. Cooler Master decided we're going to put it at a 90-degree angle. That way there's no tension on the port. Everything will be fine. Everything was not fine. And so Cooler Master in their tech support, when it turned out that this 90-degree connection was not fine, told customers to disassemble the housing for their up to 600 watt cable. I didn't report on it at first because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't believe it. That is so stupid, it's unbelievable. Much to my surprise, it's real. Because Cooler Master had to come out and issue an official apology for telling users to pry apart their melting prone 16-pin connectors to fix them. All right. Here's a pro tip for you, okay? If customer support is telling you to do something sketch, you're allowed to say, I don't feel comfortable doing that. Because let me tell you something, I'm super comfortable around computers. I have assembled, disassembled, reassembled laptops, tablets, whole desktops, workstations, servers, you name it. I've had my arms deep into it. The only exception to that rule is cell phones. Because very rarely is it ever worth me to go ahead and repair anything like this. Plus, I don't have tools small enough. but basically anything else I've repaired. If a computer manufacturer told me for the cable that transfers up to 600 watts of power that I should go ahead and pry apart the connector to get rid of the 90-degree bend, first off, my aesthetics. That's not going to look good, and I paid a lot of money to go ahead and have a good custom-built computer, and I'm not about to ruin that by taking apart the connector jankily. Second, I wouldn't want to do that, period. I'd just be like, no, you're issuing a refund for this cable, or you're sending me one that doesn't have a 90-degree bend in it. But Cooler Master has, in fact, said that they apologize for ever trying to convince customers to do something this moronic, and then also went out and then also discontinued the connector entirely. It's gone. We never have to see it again. Good. I'd say all in all, win, win, win. By the by, this isn't really a big story, but I wanted to include it anyway just to keep you guys aware. You know those viral, like, oh my god, there's a new hacking strategy out there for Discords. Oh my god, you avoid this one user. Oh my god. You know those sort of like clickbait sort of things that are usually either about trying to just spread fear or try to get one guy they really hate ostracized? This isn't that. This is actually a real concern. There is a new hijacking method going around right now for Discord accounts. This is using what's called Red Tiger. And what it is that it's an info stealer that collects Discord account data and payment information. The malware can also steal credentials stored in your browser, cryptocurrency wallet, and game accounts. However, I want to stress one very important thing. This tool requires you to download it. So, this should go without saying, but let's go ahead and say it again anyway. If someone on Discord is acting kind of weird, don't click any link they give you. If someone on Discord is telling you, hey, I went ahead and built a new game, can you go ahead and test it by downloading it here? Don't believe them. Don't do any of that sort of stuff. Now, Red Tiger is a known piece of malware. Any sort of virus scanner or malware tool like Malwarebytes should detect it. However, just don't download it. That's the easiest way. Don't try to be cute. Download it and then show the would-be hacker the report saying you caught them. Don't even bother. Just don't download it. And then if it is just like a known account within a community that is sending around these DMs, let a moderator of that Discord know so they can go ahead and take action. Okay? So while this is a new method of attacking within Discord, the methods for avoiding it are exactly the same as every other method of avoiding attacks on Discord. Don't download anything suspicious. Don't go to weird websites. If someone DMs you out of nowhere, chances are they're up to no good. Just trust your gut. If something sounds weird or too good to be true, guess what? It probably is. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. All right, let's get to some actual bigger news. All right. The US and China have agreed on a 1-year tariff truce. So what does this mean? This means that for 1 year, the tariffs that are in place are not in effect. Does this mean that you can expect all the prices everywhere to suddenly drop? No, because these tariffs are everywhere to many different outlets. So no, the price of everything is not going to very suddenly drop. It does mean that the price of some things may drop. It does mean that the price of things will probably not go up. I say probably for good reason. And also it means that NVIDIA stonk prices also go way up because it means they can go ahead and sell their AI chips to China, who really likes AI because they love to go ahead and use AI to send very improbable propaganda of how good China is all over Twitter. Why specifically Twitter, I don't know, but holy smokes, is it everywhere. I feel like it's obvious too. Like, I'm sorry, but people in China are not living the lap of luxury because they have a slime bed. That's not a real thing. Kinda isn't. But yeah, good news on that front. How about some bad news though? Memory shortages are hitting even harder as server DRAM prices are now surging up to 50%, and that other orders are just not being fulfilled at all. We have seen DDR5 standard prices that are not server related already hit some pretty big highs. Now it is starting to hit the server realm because, of course, everyone's now building more and more and more and more and more data centers because everyone wants more and more and more and more AI, despite the fact that the general public is really sick of AI. What do you think the percentage is of people who actually want to use AI? 3%? Maybe 2? I mean, I'm willing to bet if we polled the live chat here who loves using AI, we'll get exactly one person saying they love to use AI, and that person is saying it sarcastically to try to get a rise out of me. Someone in chat says they're waiting 3 weeks for a DIMM. Is it affecting consumers? Yes, it is affecting consumers as well. Probably a good chance that if I actually do get around to getting the parts for the gaming rig on the build, I'm probably gonna have to take 2 sticks out of the streaming rig and move them down into the gaming rig. Like, that's a distinct possibility. Whee! That'll be very unaesthetically pleasing at all. See, there it is. Someone in chat. In a professional capacity, I must love AI. I'd be afraid of like most of these corporate buildings, of these corporate meetings. Like, it gets to the point where it feels like it must be like a brainwashing session. You love AI. AI is the future. AI is going to make our lives easier. It's so great for everything. And it so isn't. It just gets in the way. Oh, maybe one day, but that day is not today, and it's not going to be tomorrow either. Sorry to say. Meanwhile, though, OpenAI. Speaking of things everyone loves, let's talk about how much we love AI. Oh boy. OpenAI is now taking more responsibilities away from their nonprofit division and expanding their for-profit division. So now we're seeing more and more and more OpenAI, the company that was the darling of everyone because they're doing all this they're doing all this AI development for the greater good of everyone. They're not about profit at all. They're not here to be a greedy corporation. See, the nonprofit section of the company keeps the profit section of the company in check. So they're always looking for the betterment of everyone. I don't believe anyone truly believed this from the beginning. I think those that did were naive. Because if you really were all about the benefit of everyone, that you really were all about not profit, but the advancement of humanity, you wouldn't have a for-profit wing. You'd be all non-profit and then make a massive amount of profit with your non-profit division, like every other non-profit. So yeah, OpenAI is going more mask off. Who here is surprised? Now put your hand down if you raise your hand. You know better. Deep down, you know better. Here's what's even better about all this, though. ChatGPT is not that profitable. Most of their earnings is from more and more investors. And at some point, I'm just going to tell you this right now, at some point, they're going to actually have to make money on their own, rather than just getting close to breaking even. I am still fully convinced that AI is a bubble, and when it pops, it is going to be catastrophic for so many people. And holy smokes, is it turning out to be closer and closer to the truth. Meanwhile, though, YouTube is forcing AI upon you. Please do not resist. What do I mean by that? All videos on YouTube that are not in HD, meaning that they are sub 720p, are going to be going through an AI algorithm to have the entire thing upscaled to HD, both 720 and 1080, so that now all videos on YouTube will be 1080p. All thanks to the power of AI. Thank you, AI. Nobody asked for it. And I'm pretty sure, as some people said, the AIification will continue until morality improves. It's just not stopping. And I just want to know, but why? What if the video had charm at 360p or 480p or 480i? What if there's massive errors introduced when taking it up to 720 or 1080? I guess we'll just wait and see. Not that it really matters, just because it's just going to keep happening whether we like it or not. Someone in chat said AI dubbing video into your language is already here. Here's the thing, though. As YouTube creators, you have to consent into that. So if I'm on YouTube, which I am, I have the option to let the video automatically be AI dubbed into other languages, which is extra funny because AI has a hard time figuring out my Midwestern accent. Why, I don't know. It just does. So I'm very curious how many errors are caused as a result of that. And I imagine, I don't think that affected anything. I hope. DM. But in any case, you have to go ahead and opt into that. And I don't think it's available for live. Honestly, if they got the AI engine working fast enough that you can get in real time dubbing into your language on, say, this podcast, that'd be pretty cool. I just kind of doubt that it's going to work all that well. And then meanwhile, in more and more AI news, Australia is suing Microsoft over AI-linked subscription price hikes. Can I just say good? I actually have a work-related gripe with this, okay? So it's not just Microsoft doing this sort of thing. All right, let me first describe what's going on, all right? Microsoft, and many other companies for that fact, introduce AI-related features, okay? They introduce that into every level of the package, and as a result, they increase the price dramatically to cover the cost of the AI features. Okay? Now, in the case of Microsoft, it's only a 45% price hike. I say only because here's the fun one for you. For my business, we use QuickBooks. That's not really too much of a surprise. It's a small business, and QuickBooks serves us very well. The subscription for QuickBooks was $80 a month. Okay, that includes all the maintenance. That includes basically almost I almost want to say 24/7 support, but it's not. It's like first and second shift support. Like we get support from 6 a.m. to like 10 p.m. or something like that. It's basically all the hours you'd ever want support with something like that. But they introduced a whole lot of AI upgrades. The price of my package, without my consent, increased by 300%. This went from an $80 subscription to a $255 subscription for a bunch of features we don't use. We never agreed to anything. We weren't even informed of anything. This was just dropped in our lap and said, we're just going to ding your card this now. So to see something very similar happen to Microsoft, I'm going to go ahead and say, good. No sympathy. No sympathy at flippin' all. Because this practice, not a fan in the least. We're going to go ahead and take our first break here. When we come back, I have some stuff. I have some Elon news we actually need to talk about, including Elon's plans for an AI computer, Elon's plans for a Wikipedia clone, and an investigation involving Mad Max mode. Don't go anywhere. We will be back. Welcome back, Eagle Eyes on Tech. I'm Eagle Falcon. All right, so let's talk about Elon Musk. Everyone's favorite topic. I'm lying, of course. A lot of people would rather I just move on, but we're gonna do it anyway because we have some crazy ideas. Which honestly, I'll be honest, like this one idea isn't the dumbest thing in the world I ever heard. Elon Musk unveils plan to turn Tesla fleet into a global AI supercomputer. I mean, if the car is not doing anything, you've got a pretty decent computer just sitting there doing nothing but charging. I mean, kind of, why not? I kind of get where the thought process is going from. However, here's my counterpoint. A car is supposed to be driving, or is supposed to be flipping charging. Can it please not use compute power while it's charging? I don't want to wake up and find out that my Tesla that I don't have is supposed to be at 80% and I find out it's only at 60 because it was helping 6 other Tesla cars go ahead and generate lewd prompts for someone that wanted to ERP with Grok or something equally insane. Like, on paper, I get where this is coming from. I really do. But holy smokes, there are, like, you would have to opt into this. And considering the fact that it's, you know, the user's power being used for this, they have to receive some kind of compensation. They have to. Of course, the article doesn't mention anything about it, other than, oh, wait, no, never mind. Tesla owners might earn income by renting out their vehicles' unused computing capacity. Honestly, if the whole thing is just opt-in, I'm all for it. If it's all an opt-out basis, like, say, all the subscriptions we were just talking about, not okay with it. Not at all. Someone in chat says that Grok is basically Skynet. You know, we got so many Skynet potentials out there. We're going to end up in a new form of the Terminator where we have Skynet versus Skynet. Or no, it'd be Skynet versus TerraWeb. Something along those lines. Like, it's just going to be the great robot wars of X, the everything eliminator, Amazon, which has no slogan, Google, who doesn't know what the heck they're doing, Apple, which will have the sleekest killbots that ever existed, and I don't know, Walmart, I guess. And Nvidia is still just like the top dog, being like an arms dealer for all the killbots, because what else would Nvidia do? They'll be in a Terminator type of scenario, Nvidia would totally be the arms dealer supplying both sides. 100%. And by both sides, I mean every side, because this theoretically has like 8 sides to it. Actually, I don't think in a Terminator scenario like that, Amazon would be much of a threat. They just fire their workforce. All the Terminator killbots would just be laid off. What sort of dystopian nonsense is this? Federal investigators are looking into Tesla's Mad Max mode, which apparently defies speed limits. What? All right, so what is going on here? Well, apparently Tesla's full self-driving mode has a mode in it called Mad Max mode, which you can't make this up. Mad Max mode offers higher speeds and more frequent lane changes than its hurry speed profile. Let me get this straight, Tesla. You made a self-driving profile that intentionally has the vehicle, which, by the way, you have the most dense vehicles in the market. And I don't mean that in a way that your drivers are the most boneheaded people out there, which they kind of are. I mean, your vehicles weigh so much more than they look because of the massive battery. If there's an accident involving a Tesla, it is far more dangerous because they weigh so much more and can accelerate so much quicker. Not to mention the Cybertruck being just the world's worst APC on the road. And you enabled a mode that makes the vehicle drive as though it was being driven by a lunatic. Like, I've seen this style of driving in my time out in the roads. People get pulled over and ticketed for reckless endangerment for driving in the manner you're describing. Here's what I'll mostly say for this, all right? I mean, good on the federal investigators for looking into Tesla to say, hey, you can't go ahead and enable a mode that recklessly endangers the public. That's insane. Personally, I'm just more surprised to see that the federal investigators actually have a job currently because the government is allegedly closed. Pretty sure it's still closed, right? Real talk though. Not only can I not wait for the government shutdown nonsense to be over with, not only because I actually know people who basically are de facto unemployed right now because of it, and they want to go ahead and be able to, pay their bills. I want it all taken care of for those people, of course. But I also so eager to see Congress go and bring Dan Clancy in for hearings and have Dan Clancy explain why are there open racists calling for the death of people on his platform. Oh man, I cannot wait for that congressional hearing. It needs to happen. Someone in chat said there's still 10 people working there, all in upper management positions. I'm sure they're joking, but if that actually is true, I am stunned that someone in upper management went and did anything other than pay desk putt-putt. Because in my experience, all people in upper management positions in the companies that I work with seem to do is plan their next golf meet, send a strongly worded email, and then never get anything done. But I digress. Elon. Good luck with that investigation. Meanwhile, though, Elon has in fact launched Grokpedia. Grokpedia. Someone in chat says there are people working unpaid open to get back pay when the government reopens. That is fair, and historically, that usually is fulfilled. At the same time, though, this one just seems stranger, but I digress. So Elon has gone ahead, launched a Wikipedia clone, and all it is, and this is my personal favorite, all Grokpedia is an AI-built website that was trained off Wikipedia data. That's what we're reduced to, huh? We're reduced to plagiarizing Wikipedia. This might be like the smartest move I would expect from a second grader. The worst part is, though, because Wikipedia is all open sourced and community sourced and all that, it's not like, unlike a lot of other AI cases, that there's a copyright issue here. There just isn't. It's all just public. In the end, though, it does just feel, what's the right word? It feels dirty, if that makes sense. Now, I don't know anyone who's going to be using Grokpedia over Wikipedia, other than like the most diehard Elon fans, which, I mean, those kind of people are kind of beyond hope anyway. So, I don't know. That's a real thing that really exists. Does it need to exist? I'd argue probably not, but it's real. It's real. It can't be unreal now. Yay. Meanwhile, though, in a world of things that I'm not sure why, but Samsung is bringing their mobile browser to Windows PCs. So I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know that Samsung had a mobile browser, nor did I know that people liked it. In fact, I'm going through my Samsung page right here. There's no browser there. I have AR Zone, unless that's it for some reason, calculator, wearable, the gaming hub, my files, health, smart things, smart switch, and wallet. That's it. Oh, never mind. I found it. It's just called Internet. It's called Samsung Internet. I open it up and the first thing it does is open YouTube, which has a Linus Tech Tips video up front and center from 3 years ago. I don't know what to make of this. All right, but apparently that web browser is a favorite according to the cult of Samsung, and they're now making it available to Windows PCs. I'm sure there's a reason for this. I'm sure there's a user base for this. I don't know who it's for, because as far as I'm aware, all their other devices also use Chrome. Like Chrome was installed by default on every Samsung device I've ever had. So it's not like, oh yeah, everyone uses this on the Samsung phones. It's to sync your bookmarks and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I'd understand it then, but like everything seems to also just have Chrome. My best guess is that in other geographical markets, Samsung doesn't install Chrome and everyone just has the Samsung browser by default. And they're just like, oh, this is nice. And then never bother installing another one. I mean, that's what happened with Safari. Nobody actually likes Safari. They just tolerate it on their phones because it's the first thing there. Zone in chat says Samsung phones have a dock accessory for mobile desktops. Yeah, the DeX feature. The thing is that the DeX feature just uses the phone as a computer. So your entire desktop environment, the keyboard, the mouse, and your giant screen are just using your phone as the computer. What this is bringing the browser that would be on the phone onto your desktop computer. So it's taking the DeX out of the equation. So this has nothing to do with the DeX accessory or the DeX protocol or anything of that nature. It has nothing to do with that at all. So that's that. I mean, all in all, I mean, as long as you're happy, I guess. It can't hurt anything, right? And hey, maybe it's actually not based on Chrome. It probably is based on Chrome. Let's be honest, though. All right, let's get to the thing I didn't think I was going to get to. It was going to be something after a break, but it's not going to. Amazon has laid off 14,000 employees. And this was spread across many, many different departments across Amazon. Now, where the cuts were made, it kind of varies, all right? And the reason for it all rather varies. For the most part, many of these were all because they are shifting more towards using AI, which, let's be honest, you kind of expected. I think you're just going to see a lower quality in work, and the bean counter's not caring because, well, we saved money and labor, so who cares? A sad, unfortunate truth. However, there are some hits that are more significant than others. Twitch, by our estimates now, has lost near another half of their staff, including one guy who came out publicly as the guy who built, quote, the entire fraud system and never got recognized. He just got laid off from his job, built the entire fraud detection system on Twitch, now lost his job. This is going to sound terrible. The Twitch fraud system is terrible. And it would not surprise me at all if he was laid off because the system is so bad. The Twitch fraud system has been used for so many malicious attacks where people go ahead and try to cheer a massive amount of bits and then refund it. This triggers the fraud system and then gets accounts banned out of nowhere. And keep in mind, it is very difficult to be banned on Twitch. Like, you can go ahead, yank on the tail of your dog, shock a dog, go ahead and praise mass murderers, and you might get like a day ban, if that. Or you can be a VTuber and just get weeks banned out of nowhere. Yeah, Twitch has a moderation problem like nobody's business, and it's kind of sad, I'm not gonna lie. But if you just want to go ahead and just be a jerk, all you do is just do a few small little things, get an account flagged for suspected activity, and then bam, all your little burner accounts got banned. But more importantly, you took down your target's livelihood, all thanks to this fraud program. So do I think this guy deserved to lose his job because the fraud system is terrible? No, I don't actually. I think if he was fired or laid off because the fraud system is so bad, well, that's actually terrible hindsight, because who's going to be the most qualified person to go ahead and fix the fraud system? Oh yeah, the guy who built it. Huh. Well, now he's not there. Now you have a problem. Typical. So unfortunately, more and more things on Twitch are going to get worse and worse, because now we have fewer and fewer humans trying to go ahead and manage a company that is already being horribly managed. And I don't want to sound full gloomer or doomer or whatever. This might just be yet another move by Amazon to go say to the higher ups at Twitch that, hey, in order for you to just not be shut down, this is what we have to do to you. You have to run with less people, because you're burning too much money. That's all there is to it. After all, something far more devastating happened to, say, an Amazon game, that being New World. New World was also hit by the layoffs. The layoffs being nearly 100%. Development for New World is officially ending. You can no longer buy the game on Steam. Their latest expansion is being considered the last one, and the servers will be live through 2026. So this game had a great start. New World, without a doubt, had an amazing start. Servers were completely capped out. People were waiting in line for way too long. Capacity was their biggest problem, for sure. But hey, they had the numbers, they had the demand, they just could never capitalize on it. And now Amazon, their latest wave just said, you know what? You're done. Poof. The end. Never to be seen again. And then just also show that, hey, we have this right here. New World Eternum is officially the last major patch for New World. And it's not just New World that's been hit too. There was a Lord of the Rings MMO in development by Amazon Game Studios. That also will never see the light of day. That entire staff laid off. RIP. So yeah, it just constantly looks like no matter where we look at Amazon, we just see more and more people being laid off. Some other people were saying that the Amazon Echo department was also suffering some layoffs, but I could not get any additional confirmation on that at all. So unfortunately, all we can do is just wait and see what exactly happens. It just is what it is. We're going to take another break here, probably our last one. When we come back, I want to talk about some AMD news. And then also, of course, the strange stories that we have for the week. Don't go anywhere. We will be back. Welcome back, Eagle Eyes on Tech. I'm Eagle Falcon. All right, so this one is special. YouTube has actually lately had a lot of their automated systems go ahead and take down videos and then striking the channel that had their videos taken down, saying that the videos were, quote, harmless or dangerous content policy. That's what the videos were in violation of. You know what these videos have been in violation of? software modifications. I'm dead ser- That was weird. I'm dead serious. That is in fact what all of these have been in violation of. This one, not the most innocent example of this, but also definitely not dangerous or harmful. There's a YouTube video that its sole purpose is to install Windows 11 on a computer that does not fully meet the hardware restrictions. Now, this I especially feel for, all right? I have several computers that no longer are operable on Windows 10 because support has ended, and Windows 11 will not support them because they do not have trusted platform modules. Or specifically, they don't have trusted platform module 2.0. They have trusted platform module 1. They have plenty of hardware for them, one of which having two 12-core CPUs. By the way, I think I have a use case for that computer, but I'll save that for another time. A couple others now being quad cores that are now just going to see a landfill because, well, they're obsolete now. One of which I still game with, but eventually it's also going to be replaced. And in the end, what do we all have to show for it but just one little restriction on Windows 11? Well, if you can't afford a brand new PC and you still want to go ahead and be a good bean and upgrade your system so that you have all the latest security updates, this sort of video is required. Or rather, these sort of instructions are required. YouTube, however, took them down, citing as harmful or dangerous. YouTube, who does this harm? I'm serious. A YouTube video telling people how to bypass Windows 11 account restrictions. Who does that harm? I'm sure some of you are probably thinking of some good examples, right? Oh, it harms Microsoft. Well, no, Microsoft is still getting their money for their upgrade. Oh, well, it harms Dell or HP or Apple or some PC manufacturer that could have gotten a good sale out of that. If they're resorting to a sketchy YouTube video, they most likely do not have the money to just upgrade. Because let me tell you something about computer users. You give them an excuse to upgrade and get into something shiny and new, they'll take it. I guarantee it. In this specific scenario, I would argue this harms no one. This isn't dangerous to anyone other than the user who, by the very nature of their search, already knows they're taking a risk. So I really want to know, are you just doing this for Microsoft's sake? Is Google just going ahead and just saying it's dangerous because Microsoft just wants to say, no, you can't go ahead and do that. It's got to be by our rules. And this isn't the first time we have seen this either. We've seen YouTube go ahead and take down videos trying to show people how to get around all kinds of what seem like Google necessities to your daily lives. Well, who does that harm, Google? Oh, yourself. Man, you think you have a bias in that? Or heck, my personal favorite, a YouTube video telling people how to use Ersatz TV, an open source program that just lets you take your own videos and make a digital TV channel with them. Just a fun little program for some quirky stuff using media you already own. That was taken off YouTube. So I'm not gonna lie, this is showing a trend on Google's part that doesn't look very good, like at all. And I, for one, am just kind of a little worried that Google is just casually doing this kind of thing. But I guess in the end, it just is what it is. And anytime we hear more and more people say, hey, my video is removed because it was considered dangerous, well, we then just know that, oh, it's Google playing ball for someone. More and more programs, by the way, like Ersatz, I think are going to be, or Owncast, be another one, I think are going to start being more and more necessary as companies like Google that are just like, oh, don't worry, we're for the people. We never go ahead and abuse our power. Well, here's them abusing their power right here. So all of a sudden, things like Owncast and other competitors might actually be needed. Not a fun conversation you want to go ahead and have. AMD wants you to be confused. That is my only explanation for this, because AMD is now rebranding some of their CPUs, and now we have Ryzen 10 and Ryzen 100 series processors announced, which are actually Zen 3 Plus and Zen 2 processors. By the way, we're on Zen 4. I give up. I give up. I used to be able to go ahead and just be able to tell at a glance, based on the model name, roughly how good the CPU or GPU was and how old is it. Now we got the Ryzen 100 series that you'd assume is now a reset after you hit 9,000. It's not. It's actually a rebrand of the 5,000, actually the 6,000 series. And like, I feel like your only course is to look up the CPU model for every single one and then determine what generation is this, and then the rest of its specs from there. Because you can't trust the model name. The model name might as well just be a serial number at this point. I don't know how you look at this any other way. Like, when you've got, you know, an HX 300 and an AI Max 300, but you also have the 740 and the 5000 and the Ryzen 100, but the Ryzen 100 is actually higher end than the 200, and you can't keep track of this all. It's insane. Like, okay, Intel just went through this, all right? Intel just went ahead and did this very similar douchebaggery, all right? It's really stupid and no one likes it. Like, it just is what it is, all right? It's terrible, it's dumb, and people are frustrated with it, all right? But that's just Intel for you. They're just throwing stuff at the wall to make it stick. AMD, you're at the top. You don't need to be deceptive. What do? You're going to go be deceptive because your competition is doing it. I know in this episode we're talking about how Amazon needs to just let people work and give people a chance, and that firing isn't the answer. But man, if there's a few things I want done, I need Dan Clancy fired from Twitch, and I need the entire AMD marketing team fired, because this cannot continue. This is insane. This is confusing. Like, it's one thing for the average consumer to look at this and just go, man, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what any of this means. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. I'm going to go call up my friend who knows computers. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have to pick up the phone, and I'm going to have to go, I have no idea, because AMD's numbering scheme doesn't make sense anymore, because they just changed half of it, and the numbers they changed are actually old CPUs, and you don't actually want them, even though they sound new, and I don't even know what's going on anymore. But you know what? At least in the AMD world, they do go ahead, and at the very, very least, they support their old tech for a very long time. Like, you can get in to a 7000 series CPU and know that it's going to have support for a long time. Their GPUs, on the other hand, unfortunately, not the case at freaking all. The Radeon 6000 series GPUs, the last gen GPUs, are no longer receiving driver updates. Really? We're just gonna really? So you're trying to compete with NVIDIA. NVIDIA gives driver updates for the last 4 generations of cards. Like, for all the greed that NVIDIA has, they still at least support and develop drivers for their older cards. You, on the other hand, AMD, you want to go ahead and build up that customer trust. You want to go ahead and say, hey, we're not going to treat you like NVIDIA. We're going to do you good. And then you do this. Oh boy. Okay. Cool. That's just fan freaking tastic. Well, I mean, what else can you say to this? What else can you say? So AMD only supports their current 7000 series GPUs. If you go ahead and you buy a 6000 series GPU off eBay, no, you're buying a GPU that's already obsolete and will basically, it's just not going to play newer games, like at all. It's just a default over to just baseline DirectX functionality or whatever, and provide very subpar support compared to what could have been with actual proper drivers. What kind of message does this send? Like, this is just beyond disappointing. Because now I look at this as someone who's now trying to build, newer computer once he's got the money, and well, crud, I guess if I do upgrade the GPU, it's gonna have to be NVIDIA, because after 2 years, my AMD purchase will already be obsolete, and at least the NVIDIA one, despite the fact that I hate the practices of the company, is still at the very least going to provide me a minimum of 4 years of good, high quality gaming. There's gonna be drivers for longer than that, mind you, but at the very least, I can count on it for 4 years of solid performance before it starts becoming a bit too old to expect top tier performance out of. But even then, you might be able to squeak it along for a little longer. The AMD ones, no. You're gonna be back to base SDKs only 2 years after making them. Meanwhile, you have Fujitsu, a Japanese laptop maker that decides to support the most ancient of tech. Did you know that Fujitsu actually makes laptops with disk drives in them? Yeah, they're still putting Blu Ray drives in their laptops. Bro, if your internet goes down, you can still pop a Blu Ray in and still watch movies until your laptop battery dies. Like, I haven't needed, I admit, I haven't needed a disk drive in a long time. I've found ways around it, and even when I'm recovering old media off a disk, I've got a USB one. I don't need a built-in internal disk drive. But man, all the people out there that say, oh my God, I still want a headphone jack. Oh my God, I still want a headphone jack on my phone. Why is there no headphone jack on my phone? Oh, and I keep going, you lost. The war's over. We lost. There's no headphone jacks on phones now. Deal with it. I thought the same thing about the disk drive. I didn't realize Fujitsu out there is still keeping it alive. Someone in chat said it's good for Redbox movies. Ooh. Who wants to tell them? Does Redbox even have any machines left? Like, I'm not even kidding. I think the only place I have seen DVDs or Blu-rays available, besides going to a specialized store, oddly enough, has actually been at a truck stop. And that's because obviously the truckers just going to the mountains. That's it. You got nothing. You got to go ahead and do something while you're out there. Like, there, I get it. I'm just stunned that of all places, Japan still has optical media inside their laptops. The country that brings minimalist to a whole new level, where everything must be dual purposed, everything must be ultra compact, ultra tight, ultra dense. But the laptop, there, we're going to keep the disk drive in there. I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. Sometimes traditions live on. Speaking of which, I can't remember the last time I've actually seen a Fujitsu laptop show up at the off leasing site where I used to get computers. They actually have right now for laptops a bunch of Lenovo's. Okay, well, that's not helpful. There's also a commercial electric riding lawnmower and a propane powered floor sweeper. Yeah, that sounds about right for them. That sounds about right for them. We should get back to stories. All right, yeah, we should. Let's instead talk about the home robot that is now officially available for $20,000. That it is not self-operated, but piloted by another person remotely. So you can now teleoperate your various chores via a $20,000 robot. Okay, that is a choice, let me tell you. Just remember, when that robot goes rogue, it isn't the robot's doing, it actually is the person operating it. Meanwhile, though, I gotta ask you, do you miss the good old days? Do you miss a simpler time? Back when computers only had megahertz, they had a turbo button for additional stability. Nobody cared about copyright claims, and everything was just a simpler time where people went on the internet to enjoy a hamster dancing. Do you miss those times? Well, I have good news. You can now experience the worst part about those simpler times, all thanks to this Raspberry Pi being modified that lets you hear the signals of the Wi-Fi. Yes, it basically sounds like a faster version of the dial-up sounds, just without the phone dialing. Like, this is cool for a science fair project, but I have to ask, why? Why are you done this? Why would you do this? Just why? What did we do to you? Do you just dislike people? Someone in the chat responds with why not? No, why is definitely much more valid. Why not? What benefit would you get from hearing freaking Wi-Fi? Do you really want to go ahead and fire up a Raspberry Pi in here? There's no benefit to this. There's you're not going to find an intruder on your network this way. I'll just tell you this right now. And keep in mind, you have to multiply that sound by the number of people using the Wi-Fi, because you're picking it all up. Someone in chat said bold forward thinkers say yes. Those thinkers are not thinking correctly. Someone in chat says it could make a great April Fool's Day joke. That right there might actually be the best use case for this. It might also be the only use case for this. Congratulations. You found one valid use of this horrible idea. You may now go to your local grocery store and purchase a single cookie on your own dime. You have my permission to spend your own money. That's the most you're going to get. And finally, we turn to the last burb, the last story of the day, the weirdest story of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, mushrooms. That's it. That's the story. Mushrooms. Mushrooms. I feel like no other context is needed, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Researchers have turned mushrooms into living memory chips, all in for the sole purpose for sustainable computing. All right, so I swear this is becoming a series almost. So we have a bacteria-based CPU. We have mushroom-based RAM. I'm pretty sure we also have mushroom-based substrates, circuit boards, to actually connect everything. This is just where we are now. More and more, closer and closer and closer, we're just getting to the elvish druids being able to go ahead and just make and grow their own computer. We're just missing a GPU and some kind of interface or screen or something, all being completely organically grown. And then, and only then, will the Night Elf Druids be able to grow the computer that they can play Doom on. Folks, that is going to do it for this episode of Eagle Eyes on Tech. Thank you so much for listening. And I do encourage you to check out my other works, youtube.com/EagleFalcon and twitch.tv/EagleEyes. Eagle Falcon. Take care, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye. I like how during all of that, the only question that was asked was, does this mean you can finally eat your computer? I mean, I guess, but here's my counterpoint. If you do get a completely organic computer that is technically edible, just let me know what psychedelics you end up on afterwards, because I got a feeling anything with that much electricity running through it, something's going to break down very quickly and probably produce something that's going to react very badly. Your entire computer is just going to be nothing but magic mushrooms. Actually, wait, does this mean that if the computer actually did end up becoming magic mushrooms with your magic mushroom based computer, could you get arrested for possession? This entire thing's a little stupid.